Hey, lovely. Welcome back to Fit and Fueled by Faith, your lovely host, Stacy. And we're going to talk about how to burn fat without tracking every bite we eat. So last week we talked about tracking our macros. And this week we're going to take a different approach. So you can have two perspectives. In the beginning, you should track so you know if you're under eating, overeating, if you're getting enough protein, all that stuff. So we're going to talk about something that I know that trips us up, women over 40. And that's thinking we have to track every single bite or morsel that we eat. And I know I get caught up in that. And I'm like, sometimes I feel guilty. I'm like, oh, I don't want to track those 2 chocolate-covered almonds, but I have to. It's like we want to be sneaky with ourselves, right? It's so crazy. It's so weird. Tell me if that you do that. Like you just like, oh, I added a little butter to this. I don't want to add that. I'll just put the big things. So if you ever felt chained to your MyFitnessPal or any app, today's the day where I'm going to share with you how you could free yourself from tracking every bite of food you eat. So stick around, because the truth, my sister, is you can burn fat without tracking every bite. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Like, oh, yes. So let's get right to it and why tracking isn't the only way. Now, don't get me wrong. Tracking is a fantastic tool, like I said, helps us to understand if we're overeating, undereating, if we're getting a protein, where our macros are, to give us an idea, awareness. We talked about this last week. And so tracking isn't the only way. So we're going to talk about, for women in perimenopause, how we can relieve the stress of not needing to track everything that we eat. So we're going to talk about, instead, I want you to have a visual. So if you're listening to this, I also created a carousel slide so you can go back after this. You can go to my Instagram at Fit and Fueled by Faith, and you can see a 6-page slide. And it'll give you everything kind of pretty much what I'm talking about. So don't think like, oh, am I going to remember what she's saying? So here, I just want you to remember, okay, so we're going to use our hands as a portion guide. Maybe you've heard about this. So think of protein as a palm, okay? Palm size, start with protein. And a cupped hand of carbs, like maybe your rice or quinoa. And then a fist of your veggies and a thumb of fats, avocado, olive oil. That'd be like maybe like a tablespoon. Okay. I want you to prioritize protein and fiber at every meal, and that is a must. You want to start, especially breakfast, with protein. That's going to help set you up and satiate you and give you the amino acids and the building blocks that your body needs to start breaking down and to start working the way it should. Don't start with simple carbs. That's just sugar, and then you're going to be on this roller coaster. We talked about that. So prioritize protein. Eat every 3 to 4 hours to keep the blood sugar steady. Okay. When you eat carbs, your blood sugar is like high and low constantly. And you eat more food, you eat more calories, and it's not good for you. It's elevating your blood high and low. Stop when you feel satisfied, not stuffed. So on a scale of 1 to 10, you want to stop between 7 and 8. You don't want to be like, oh, I'm so full. You want to feel comfortable, right? You're like, okay, so that's why you need to like learn to eat slower, chew your food 20 to 30 bites, and be mindful. Put the fork down, have a conversation. Don't shove the food. Light a candle. Be mindful when you eat. Give yourself 20 minutes, because it takes about 20 minutes for the brain gut connection to say, hey, wait, we're full here. And this is another one. Don't earn your food without workouts. Nourish your temple. I remember when I was pregnant, I'd have a cookie, and right after the cookie, I'd be doing some squats. Like, okay, I ate the cookie, but I got to burn it off. I would do some things. And I would always do that. If I had pizza before bedtime, I'm like, oh, shoot, I shouldn't have ate that when I was younger. Like, let me exercise. Like, there's always this guilt. I feel like if I ate, I had to burn off. And even today, like sometimes when I eat, I feel like, hey, I got to go burn off what I just ate. And so I'm learning to like, okay, eat, and it's okay to relax. It's okay but we do want to move, specifically like walk. Have you ever heard after dinner, like go for a walk? Because walking helps the digestive process. And it's not hard on your body. It's not going to raise cortisol, and it's not stressful. Who doesn't love walking out in nature? Listening to the birds chirp. I mean, seeing the green trees or the sky, whatever it is. I love walking. So after this, I'm going to go for a walk. I walk in. And yeah, so you want to build, so these small repeatable habits build consistency. That's what drives results. So consistency, my friends. So maybe you might forget, but it's going to take time to create these habits. So remember, palm for protein, a cup for carbs, a fist for veggies, and a thumb for fats. Okay, so again, there's this visual on my Instagram. You can go check it out. And then to leave you, my friends, she is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. When you stop obsessing over food and start trusting God's design for your body, you find peace. You find peace. You're able to let go and surrender to God everything. And it's not just about, because we can idolize our bodies. We can idolize what we eat. We can idolize and we become obsessed. And that we don't want to become obsessed. Because when we become obsessed, and all we can think is like my weight, what I'm eating, if I'm not eating enough, exercise, like me. That's stressful. You become very anxious, and it's not a fun place to be. And I've learned to give it to God, and I'm going to do these things because I want to feel healthy and strong and fit, right? It's not about perfection. It's about progress. Yeah, it's not about control. It's about consistency and trust. So let's make this real. I want you to visualize. Okay, so if you're having dinner tonight, a palm size, I put this down, a palm size of salmon, a hand cup of quinoa, right? A cup hand quinoa, and then maybe some broccoli, a fist of broccoli, and a drizzle of olive oil, about thumb, right? So about a tablespoon or so. Okay, so simple, balanced, nourishing. So, my friend, as a friendly reminder, you don't have to track every bite to burn fat. It's being mindful, eating mindfully, right? Being aware what you're putting in your body and how much and when you're eating, right? Because I can get to another episode about when to eat and why we're eating. But this is a general thing. The rule of thumb, protein first, right? You want a protein and fiber. You want to get that in. You want to get the right portions in. And when you have that visual, you can stop tracking. And if you want to start, if you haven't tracked, start tracking 3 to 5 days, like I mentioned, or a week. And just to see what you're hitting or not hitting. And when you get comfortable with the tracking and confident, maybe take 1-2 days without tracking and just do the visual. And be mindful when you're preparing your magic plate, right? We talked about that magic plate, your protein and your carbs and your fats, right? Magic plate. So now you know how to measure things, but using your hand, right? Your palm, a cup, your fist, a thumb. It's all good. So we're at the end, my friends. This was quick, simple, and easy, right? Maybe not be easy, but it is simple. But if anything, it just, like anything, it just takes being consistent and creating self-discipline of being aware and doing it with ease and grace, right? So give yourself permission if you fail and fall off to not let it ruin a bad day. The next meal, get back on track and be mindful. Because listen, we're human. And again, I talked to episodes, God doesn't care what we weigh, what we look like and stuff. It's a mental thing about us, right? Yes, we want to be healthy, but if we get too obsessed, like sometimes I know I get too obsessed. My family's like, why you got to track this and that? Like I said last week, I'm asking the server, like, how many ounces of fish or shrimp was that? Because I want to make sure I get my protein in, because that could be hard, 150 grams of protein, especially when you're out and about, when you're not at home preparing, you can't measure. And especially too, when you go to a restaurant, they may be adding extra butters and oils and things that we don't, those sneaky little extra things that we don't see. So we have to be mindful. 80%, healthy food, 20% fun food. And same thing if you're going out and you're eating, 80% at home, 20%. Don't sweat it. Don't worry. You go on vacation, have fun, have that, fish sandwich and fries. You don't do it every day. So give yourself grace and patience. And it takes time to build these habits. And so I'm on this next chapter where I'm going to try to be more mindful and use the whole hand guide, because the tracking does get exhausting, but it is fun at the same time too. Like you said, it helps me to see, okay, where am I, especially for dinner, because if I ate a lot for breakfast or lunch and things like that, then I might have to move things around or eat a little less, which is fine. Hit my calories, hit my macros, it's all good. And if you're maintenance and you don't really care, then have fun. But still be mindful. You don't want to overeat. We don't want to fall into that category of gluttony, because that could be a sin. Just being mindful what our body needs, right? Everybody's body's different. We all need different things, because we're all different sizes, different height. We have all different activity levels. We burn more or less, depending on what we do. Some people have to work all day and sit down. Some of us are very active on our feet. So you can't be hard on yourself. Do what you can do best for you. You're unique. I'm unique. We are one of a kind. And remember that. And God made you for you. He made you special, and He loves you the way you are. And of course, He wants us to be better, to be the best that we can be. But He's going to love us in this journey, and He's going to love us no matter where we are. So we need to be compassionate with ourselves and love ourselves along this journey. Because, like I said, it's not about perfection. It's about progress, right? It's, I always like to say, I'm a work in progress. So are you. And when you commit that you're a work in progress, that's not going to happen overnight, and it's going to take time. And actually, it's a lifestyle that you just create, and you start feeling good. You start feeling healthy. You start becoming more aware of what you eat. And then visually, if you go out to dinner, you realize, okay, wow, you just can know by seeing, right, the visual and stuff. And if you get a huge plate of food, which some restaurants do, okay, I'm going to eat half of this, save the rest for tomorrow, leftovers or whatever. So don't be hard on yourself. Love yourself along the journey. Be patient, be compassionate, be graceful with yourself, and know that Jesus loves you. He loves you. And I love you, but He loves you more. So with that said, my friends, go in the world, share love, make peace, and be happy. And go glorify the Lord in your thoughts, words, and your actions. Your actions. Amen. And I hope to see you next week. And I'm not sure what we're going to talk about, but this wraps up too our 5-week series on, this nutrition piece, on how to lose weight, with tracking, without tracking, exercises for women over 40. What else did we talk about? You can go back to the past couple episodes if you're new here today. And we're going to just continue this journey. Like I said in one of my episodes, that this is, I'm learning too. And as I learn, I'm sharing with you. I'm not perfect by any means. I'm not perfect. So, but I'm here. I feel like I want to share the good and the bad and the ugly of everything that's working, that's not working. So you don't have to make the same mistakes that I make or don't work for me. So anyways, that is what I have. So much love, peace.